slowly I am moving towards cooking, growing and cooking. So recently I had harvested kale from my garden, then tomatoes, and
Wow.
also in that way you move towards sustainable living, right? You are
Okay.
just growing your own food. How interesting it is, right?
Correct. Makes sense.
So now let's move ahead to the topic where we will understand. Let's see how to grow microgreens. Okay. Now I have certain seeds. See, these are the seeds of methi again.
Okay.
Okay. Now, some people
So
might
are these
feel that
like readily available, like people can go in the market, or do we have to like specifically mention something to the shopkeeper for these kind
no,
of seeds?
you just go to your kitchen, Abhishek. You just need to go to your kitchen, just open the drawer, and
Amazing.
just get started with the seeds that are available. I'm sure everyone's
Oh,
kitchen is having the seeds of rajma,
methi.
chana,
Rajma,
dal,
yes. Okay.
then mustard, rai, methi.
Okay.
If you don't like methi, try with soft. It will be
Okay.
fun, right? And just make sure that if you're growing it for the very first time, don't try to grow coriander because it will take longer, right? Because
Okay.
if you
So
see the
so the
shell,
gestation period of coriander is longer than other microgreens?
yes, the germination time is longer, right?
Okay.
So that is the reason I always prefer whenever I'm growing microgreens. Take an example that I had started these methi, right? Methi
Okay.
seeds or the
Right.
chana seeds here.
Right.
So I had soaked them overnight. So in that case, their shell becomes softer,
Okay.
and next day they will be very soft, and then they can sprout. Once they sprout, you can sprinkle them over the soil. Or if you want that, okay, I'm a beginner, I don't want to go to the nursery, I don't want to go outside, who will take care of the mess in the house,
Right.
you don't want to create the dirt inside, you can just go ahead with the soilless method of growing the microgreens. So right now what I have done is I have just taken the seeds and I have taken this lid, okay, and I have
Okay.
just spread the cotton and just sprinkle the seeds, that's it.
So
And
I
this is
think
the
this is a very common activity. I think a lot of people who have kids in their home or have children would have seen this activity happening in school where they, ask the children to bring these seeds and put them in a tray with a lot of cotton and water in it. And I think
yes,
I recall doing this in like fourth standard. But honestly, today when I'm seeing you do that, I know that I did the right thing because
okay,
this is
that's great to know.
probably something that's possible, and it's the most easiest way of growing. So yeah.
Yeah, it is the easiest way, and it is the sort of clean way, right? You don't
Correct.
need to mess around the soil, and it just is so easy that you just put some water, and the cotton will take care of the moisture whatever is required for the seeds to germinate. And once the seed starts germinating, you will move your tray towards in a well lit area.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
let's
So
let's
when you
let me
soak
show.
them in the cotton, do we need to like put them out in the sunlight, or do we need to just like have it like little bit
Yes,
of sunlight?
yes, yes. I'm showing you,
Okay.
you guys. So this is the another method that you can pick. I have just taken a tray. Make sure whenever you are growing microgreens with the soil, right, you should be having the drainage holes in it, right?
Okay.
So one of the guys had asked this question, right? The microgreens are not growing. So I wanted to ask him
Correct.
if the tray or like the container that he was spreading the microgreens or the seeds in it, they having the drainage holes in it? If not, then you should be having, because it's a good practice. If you are not, like a beginner, I would suggest that you should be having the holes in those containers, because what will happen? The extra water will drain out,
Correct. Correct.
and you
Correct.
should
Correct.
keep another tray so that water gets collected and then there is no mess in the house.
Amazing. So I
Yes,
think this
and
looks like a very common tray that you can get with these, I think, food delivery parcels. It's something that you can use it as a
yes, it
box.
is from the Swiggy. It is from the
Amazing.
Swiggy, and we
So do
have
you
like
like
lot of
puncture?
boxes.
Correct. So do you like puncture a hole for the seepage in the bottom, or do you like make a big hole? How does it work?
No, just pinch a hole. You can take a,
Okay.
like, any knife, just heat the knife and just poke some holes, few
Correct.
holes. Because
Makes sense.
anyhow you will not be watering them much, right?
Right. Right.
You don't need a, you just need this.
Oh, it's a water sprinkler. Amazing.
Yes, because see, we should be trying to understand why they need less water. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
quantity of the water and the quantity of water required by these microgreens and the quantity of water that we usually give to our greens is different, right? Because the
Right.
size matters. When the
Correct.
seed is very small, right? When the seed is very small, you don't give a cup of glass, like cup of water to that green, because it
Right.
will just die suffocating, correct?
Correct.
So that is the difference we need to understand as like what is the requirement. We should treat that seed as a baby.
Correct. Makes sense.
just
All
just
right.
few drops, just few drops, and it will be good.
Superb.
Yes.
All right.
So
Can
right now,
microgreens be grown indoors? I think that's what we have to discuss next. Can microgreens be
yes,
grown indoors, or is it like an only an
yes, right now
outdoor
I
thing?
will be doing all the setup indoors. I don't need to step outside, or I don't even need to step outside my balcony. Right? I will be growing these greens in my own house. No need to step out and no need to search for the sun.
Wow.
But the minimal requirement is you should be having the area which is well lit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, now what I will be doing, I have taken this tray, I have just taken this cocoa peat. Now you can, if you don't want to go ahead with the water, you can go ahead with the soil. Okay, if you don't have soil, you can order cocoa peat. Now, why I am recommending cocoa peat? Because cocoa peat will not having any chances of weeds, right? Because if you are picking up soil from the garden, okay, and you are spreading the seeds over it, it might have chances that weeds can come along with your microgreens. So
Right.
then there will be another task for you guys. So better to take a cocoa peat, or better to pick a soil from the region which is more like convenient to be used. Like it should be well drained, and it should not be very sticky.
Correct.
Okay,
I
so
think
I've just taken
Samriddhi
this.
asked this question and you answered it. Samriddhi, I hope Divya was able to answer your question of cocoa peat, and she was able to explain you better. So yeah, I think cocoa peat is what a lot of people did ask, whether we can use it or not, and I think you just
Yes, you
answered the
can
question.
definitely go ahead with cocoa peat, because see,
Correct.
in general, while you are growing vegetables, you amend the soil with cocoa peat. You amend the soil means you mix the soil with cocoa peat. Why we are doing it? Because when we are growing your seeds, when we are growing any kind of seeds, we
Mhm.
we want the moisture to be retained in the soil so that our seeds germinate, right? But here
Correct.
we are completely using the microgreens because the span of the harvest is not that long, right? The span of the growing microgreens is not that big, and we won't be filling this container with a lot of water. We will be just spraying it, so that
Correct.
whatever the excess water will be, it will be draining out. Though there will be very less chances, because we have to be very cautious that whenever we are watering, we are not over watering it. We just have to keep it moist, not wet. Just try to understand the difference between wet and being moist,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Correct. All right.
Yes.
What are some health benefits of microgreens? I think this is like the climax question.
Yes. Yes. So, you know what? Microgreens are the easiest ones, and they are so much concentrated in nutrients. Now, if you take an example of cabbage, okay,
Mm,
cabbage is a rich source of nutrients. And
mm.
if you compare the nutrition value from that cabbage and you compare it with the microgreens are having like 40% more nutrition than that of cabbage. Can you just believe?
Like a full grown cabbage, even more than
Yes.
that. Oh wow.
Yes. So it is very concentrated, right?
Okay.
As the greens mature, their nutrition gets dispersed, right? and
Correct.
they are so much easy to have, right? Whenever we say that we are having cabbage, nobody will tell you, okay, you should not be having in excess, because we
Correct.
know the nutrition value is not concentrated, but in case of microgreens, the nutrition is very much concentrated.
Correct. Makes sense.
So they are rich in minerals, they are rich in vitamins, they are rich in antioxidants. And whenever our body gets stressed, there are molecules, there are compounds which are generated, which are induced from our body. These antioxidants help those molecules to neutralize, so that our stress level reduces. So these
Nice.
antioxidant vitamins A, E, C, minerals like manganese, zinc, copper, they all help us to reduce the stress
Stress
levels and
levels. Correct.
maintain the gut health. If you don't know about wheatgrass is really beneficial, and it is proven as well that it helps to maintain the weight loss. Like it helps us to maintain the health and weight. It
Nice.
If
So
somebody wants to
wheatgrass
reduce
microgreens or full grown wheatgrass?
wheatgrass.
Okay, okay, okay.
So
I think
wheatgrass,
Bangaloreans are used to having wheatgrass juice in the morning. A lot of people who
yes,
go out for
it
jogging
helps.
and stuff have
Yes,
wheatgrass.
it helps to reduce weight, but as I always say, you should not be having it in excess.
Correct. All right.
And also, whenever you have it, just sprinkle it. You don't need to cook the microgreens, and you can have the stems also along with the greens. Let me again show you. So everything above the soil is edible.
Oh wow.
Yes. So now I can consume it directly after washing it. But I will always recommend that you should be consuming it like quickly. You should not be waiting for longer. Anyhow, you can store it in your fridge, but yeah, you should wash it and you can directly have it. You don't need to cook it, as in the
Okay, this
case of
doesn't require proper
sprouts.
cooking basically. You can just consume it like that.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
wow.
After washing it, I will just directly eat it. I just like it raw that way. It is that simple.
So we come to our last question, which is about understanding if there are like well-being mental benefits of having these microgreens, and if there are like any specific microgreens that would help someone with any kind of a mental disorder, probably.
So there are like lot of microgreens. There are 50 to 60 varieties of seeds. That you can grow as a microgreen. I'm like finding it very good that on Surety team has got this topic which is not very much explored. It is really good to be talking on this topic, because it is very basic and it is the easiest green that someone can grow. And the joy of growing itself is a very enjoying process. You can just enjoy, you can just disconnect from everything which gives you stress, which gives you tension or anything. You can just connect with nature, just start growing this microgreens. This is what I would suggest
So
to
your advice
everyone.
is that we should be like, all of us should have like a green thumb. Make sure that we indulge ourselves in activities of planting of any kind, probably not just microgreens, for that matter, which could help a lot of us, reduce anxiety or stress levels. So I think, yeah.
Yes, so here, you know what? I just got to, share something. A
Mhm.
small story. I would not take like, more than 2 minutes.
Please take your
So
time.
there was a old person who was very poor, like, very poor, and he used to pray to God, uh, please get me a lottery. Hey God, please get me a lottery. Please get me a lottery. Now,
Mhm.
like, after 20 30 days, God came in his dreams and told him, buddy, you need to buy a lottery ticket for that.
Hmm.
So, in the similar terms, if you want to enjoy the nature, if you want to learn something, you need to get yourself going and you need to sow some seeds if you want to enjoy the nature,
Haha,
right?
nice. That's a nice
So,
analogy. Thank you so much.
Yes. And also, I would also say that, I would also like to know, like, from the audience, how many of you guys, or what is the medium of your learning? If you want to learn, how do you prefer to learn gardening? Or just say, taking an example, somebody asks me how to grow cabbage or broccoli microgreens.
Correct.
What you guys prefer? Like, if you just want to start, how you will start? You can just write down in your chat section.
So the question is very simple, guys. Divya is asking, how would you prefer learning gardening? Like, if you had to start off with any kind of growing activity, whether it is planting or whether it is growing, YouTube tutorial. Okay, fine. We have Shweta saying that she would learn from YouTube.
Okay. So
Shweta, you should
YouTube.
go check out Divya's Instagram. You'll learn a lot. How do you? Okay,
Thank you.
Payal's question. Okay, Payal, we'll go to the Q&A session and then we'll answer your question. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
So
YouTube, I
mostly
think
you.
mostly YouTube. I think a lot of us would want to jump to YouTube for sure.
Okay. See, yes. So YouTube, and you yourself need to, just get yourself, into this process, right? You will not get everything to learn from YouTube. You know, so there are like different variables involved while you are doing gardening, right? There can be a lot of variables in terms of weather, temperature, climate, and your soil, right? If you see the soil in Bangalore, it is more sticky. If you see the soil in the north, it is different. Here it is different. In east, it is different. So accordingly, you need to amend it. Accordingly, there are like different requirements, and you will not only learn from YouTube, books, or any Instagram handle, you know, but you have to indulge yourself. You will have to get failed once at least.
You have to get your hands muddy and you have to put them in the
Yes, you
soil and you
have
have
to
to
get
start
your hands
growing.
in the soil. Yes, and if you want to
Amazing.
grow greens, you don't have to get your hands dirty. Also, you can just go and just grab some seeds and just put it in the sieve that I had shown the video, and in like 10 to 12 days, your microgreens will be ready.
Amazing. All right, with that we come to the end and we will quickly move on to the Q&A session, which is very interesting and we have a lot of questions that have flown in. While Divya answers the questions that we've already got, please feel free to put down your questions on the chat box and we will take them up as and when. So we have Dr. Ayush asking us, how does growing microgreens help in his personality development?
Okay, so personal, I'm not really sure about personality develop, but you will always have the better health. You will be, having the better mental health. You will not having any, stress, in that term. And I think if you're growing anything, you will be, working on yourself, because in terms of patience, in terms of calmness, because I will be sharing my experience in the time of pandemic. I was all at home. I was not going anywhere, but I was just indulging myself in gardening. I was growing microgreens, I was growing different types of greens, I was just experimenting, and I was not very sure that I will be passing or failing, but it was a kind of satisfaction that I used to get, right? And
Nice.
that kind of peace, that kind of calmness that I used to get, and today also I get that calmness whenever I spend my morning time with my greens. I just pick small chores from my garden, and then I just, indulge myself into that thing. It gives them that kind of mental peace, and inculcate that habit of, understanding. If you are just understanding the process of growing, you yourself are, improving on your
So
own
basically, I
personality.
think since we've been discussing about art forms of therapy this entire month, a lot of you might be able to understand this, especially Dr. Ayush. This is for you. So I think art in any form is an extension of our human body, right? And any kind of an activity that is from an art form like planting or gardening is definitely going to change a lot in your personality too, because when you use it, or when you start indulging yourself in it, it becomes an extension of yourself, and that's what creates a human of you, right? All right, we have a next question from Pawan asking, can we make juice out of microgreen, and what kind of a juice can we make?
Yes, yes. For wheatgrass that I mentioned, right? You can actually drink that wheatgrass juice.
Okay, nice.
So it is really, and every microgreens has different taste. You can also try growing peas like the
Just don't
mutton.
have methi juice. Don't have methi juice.
Don't have just methi juice. You can have like peas. You can have mustard and all other greens, whatever you like.
All right, amazing. We have Payal asking, how do you grow broccoli microgreen?
You just need my broccoli seeds.
Okay, that's all.
So broccoli seeds are very broccoli or bok choy or rye. These seeds very look very much similar. So you just need to purchase the broccoli seeds. If you are having your own desi seeds of broccoli, you can just you don't even need to soak the broccoli seeds. Reason because they are very tiny, right?
Nice. So
And
she's asking if she can grow like multiple greens in one pot also. Like, is that
yes,
also possible?
definitely, definitely, definitely. There is
Oh,
one
wow.
video of mine wherein I was growing two different types or two to three different types of microgreens in one pot because the
Okay,
requirement is all same,
correct. Nice.
and you can create multiple designs if you are very creative.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Anupam asking how many hours of sun is enough for growing in a sunlit area, if there is difference in growing them in morning versus afternoon.
See, the afternoon sun is always harsh, right? If you go yourself and just see the difference in the morning sun and in the afternoon sun. In afternoon sun you will feel very uncomfortable, it is the temperature also rises a bit when you are in the afternoon sun. So I will always recommend that the growth will be better, and the consistency level will be there when you are growing anything in the morning sun. Depends what you are growing, but always it is not recommended to use the sun. Just a well lit area is sufficient for growing the microgreens. You don't need to keep the tray of microgreens in the balcony for the sun. You just need the light.
Nice. We have Anusha asking, is there any good microgreen that helps in arthritis? I think I would recommend my mother as well, because even she has arthritis. Do we have microgreens that help in arthritis?
I don't think so. I don't know about it, I'm sorry.
But any specific, I think the premise of arthritis is a lot of slowness and metabolism as well. So is there
Yes,
like
you
a
can try.
specific microgreen that can boost your metabolism levels?
So every microgreen is nutritional, and
Okay,
every microgreen is having rich source of vitamins and antioxidants. Because of the rich source of fiber, they are very much good for your gut health.
correct. Amazing. So we have Akhilesh asking how important is fertilizer and if it's required for microgreens.
No, as I earlier mentioned, you don't need to have it accommodated in your process of growing microgreens because the harvest time is so small. See, now whatever it is grown here, it is all with the energy of the light and the seed.
Okay,
And for microgreens, you just need to remember one thing, so when you are growing a complete vegetable, just take an example of spinach, and you are growing a spinach microgreen and you are growing a mature vegetable. For spinach microgreen, you just need to harvest it once and that's it.
got
Okay,
it.
you don't need to harvest it again and again because its nutritional value will reduce eventually, and then it won't be very much efficient. But if you're growing a complete vegetable, you can harvest it like multiple times, right, as we have seen. Similarly for the methi, similarly for the other greens, but there are exceptional cases. Exceptional cases are wheatgrass, then peas, your mutter. You can harvest them 2 to 3 times, but after 2 to 3 times of harvest you will be good to discard them because their
Okay.
nutrition value will be very less.
Amazing. Got it. We have Samriddhi again asking if you can suggest something for diabetes.
I
And
think wheat grass is really good for diabetes.
wow.
It is really
Samriddhi,
good.
please go have wheatgrass today.
Yes. I'm really sure most of you guys will be, intrigued to try microgreens and just soak the seeds overnight and just get started. And if you have any other questions, you can, reach out to me and you know where.
Amazing. All right, with that, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much, Divya, for hosting us, for having us here, and for having such an interactive session, showing all of your multiple greens that you've grown and all the efforts that you've put in bringing that out for us to show it to us. And I think you've waited for so long to help them grow, and then you've kind of brought it out in the webinar today so that all of us can see the fully grown microgreens. So thank you so much for this. I think we are extremely joyful and elated. And a lot of takeaways that I have taken from this session. Number one, I think my personality is very much green today because I have learned that it's so important for us to not just learn the microgreens, but also go ahead and consume them in the right way. Improve your diet, make sure that you're taking the right nutrition out of it. And I think that's what makes me, sort of look forward to growing something today, for sure. And a lot of new things that we learned. I am so thankful for you to answering all the questions that our attendees had today. And it's been a very informative and a productive 1 hour. A lot of people have mentioned how they have a different outlook towards microgreens today because now they think it's a superfood and all of us
Yes.
should consume this superfood. And it's been an amazing journey having you here. Thank you so much, Divya, once again. To everyone who's on the call, please go and check out Divya's Instagram profile. It is at the rate Indian Green Dreams. She is based out of Bangalore and she's from Himachal. She's been doing this gardening for about 7 to 8 years. And it's an absolute joy if you go ahead and check out her reels because she's not just someone who has a green thumb, but she's got a techie finger as well. And she has very good transitions on her reels that really make me feel impressed about her. So please go check out her content. It's very entertaining. You learn a lot of things and not just microgreens, but then there are a whole lot of things that she covers in her profile, right from flowers to plants to air purifier plants and whatnot. So please go check her out. And thank you so much, Divya.
Thank you, Abhishek, and thank you all of you to join in. And it was such a great, discussion. Every question that was being asked, it was, very good to answer. And also, I would like to take a moment to thank On Surety, and for letting this happen because microgreens are very basic, but it is not a very explored topic, and it is really good
Correct.
to uncover all those areas around it. And I will be really uh, happy to answer all other queries if somebody is having. And thanks again, Abhishek. Thanks, On Surety. And
Um,
On Surety is India's first subscription healthcare platform with a roster of, like, 3,000 plus SMEs and startups. The brand starts to make affordable health care accessible by all, and it is so much fun to have myself and Abhishek and all of you guys in this discussion. Thanks, everyone.
most welcome. Thank you so much, Divya. Thank you so much. It's been a great session.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.